Morning, everybody. How you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. I'm Sean Butler. Bugsy Malone's just up in front. This is episode 200 of Tottenham Walks. I hope you're all happy and healthy doing the things that you love. With those that you love doing them with, please, guys, do me a favour. Smash the like button for me on the video like you always do. Smash the subscribe on the channel if you haven't already. We're close to 7K. Hit the notification bell so you can watch these types of things first. And drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts on today's topic. And, guys, today's topic is a topic that I thought we were done with. I've made, I think, about 11 videos on this story. The saga. Part of a playlist. I thought we were finished with it. Signed, sealed, delivered. Put it in the archive of Tottenham content from the Spurs Talk Show. Because he's over. A big part of our recent past, but no longer a part of our present, and surely no longer a part of our future. I am, of course, talking about Fabio Paratici. He's done, right? He resigned, right? Maybe. Maybe not. We don't know yet, but there is a reason why we're bringing him up today, guys. If you remember, back in December, there was the announcement the investigation had led to a court proceeding that affected him and about 9 or so other directors of Juventus, former directors of Juventus, that ended up with Juventus themselves having a 15-point penalty attached to their season that resulted in various bans from Italian football for nearly all of those directors. Paratici himself getting a 13-month ban, blocking him from conducting any business in Italian football. That was appealed. The conviction came through in January. The appeal was put in. Before the appeal came out, which happened in late April the 20th, I think it was, it came through. Before then, the Italian prosecutor and the FIGC and the Olympic Committee in Italy had asked FIFA to extend the ban on Paratici specifically worldwide, to stop him conducting any business, any footballing related matters at all worldwide. And FIFA accepted that, initiated the ban before due process was complete. I said at the time it was madness to do it, because if there is a reason to overturn the conviction, or if any appeal is upheld, then someone like Daniel Levy may get litigious because of the disruption that kind of unnecessarily invoked decision-making from FIFA would have on Tottenham's season. So before the appeal is heard regarding the Italian side, FIFA extend the ban. On April the 20th, it comes out that the ban is the ban is upheld for Fabio Paratici. It's upheld for Cherubini. It is upheld for Agnelli. That everybody else gets their appeal upheld, the conviction overturned. Juventus have their 15-point deduction rescinded. They get straight back into the Champions League. Things are looking better for Juventus on some level. They are still going to have to face consequences for their actions, but it's no longer going to be held by a prosecutorial team. It's going to be handled by footballing people within the Italian Football Association. We don't care about that stuff. What we care about was Paratici. His ban was upheld. The conviction was upheld. At that point, the gardening leave that he had been placed on was then converted into a formal resignation, because he's useless to Tottenham. He can't conduct any business. He's banned from all footballing matters. And he's still got his own, criminal issues he has to figure out with the Italian version of the Securities and Exchange Commission, which I think is called the FIGC, for financial impropriety with regards companies that are listed on the Italian Stock Exchange. So his problems are not over. I think he also still has UEFA issues that he has to go through. However, he resigns from the club. Tottenham then have no director of football at a time when we also have no manager, no female manager. At a time when we've just hired a new chief footballing officer that doesn't officially start until July. At a time when we have 8 players' futures who are on loan that need to be sorted out. When we have Harry Kane, our most important player's contract, that needs to be sorted out. When we have, in our opinion, in most fans' opinion, maybe a third of the actual playing squad that is probably surplus to requirements. A long list of candidates of players that we need to improve the squad with. And ultimately, none of those things can really take place when you haven't got an acting director of football. He is supposed to be in conjunction with the new chief footballing officer, taking over the reins of all footballing decisions. Absent him, and prior to the start of Scott Munn, officially at least, it's very difficult to see how Tottenham can make key core decisions as we go into the summer without these people. And we have so many key and core decisions to take care of that the director of football is the cornerstone, the key block in everything. So losing director of football Fabio Paratici to a resignation forced because of a decision that was made early, unnecessarily early by FIFA, was incredibly disruptive to Tottenham. Whether you like him or not as a director of football is besides the point. Daniel Levy was happy with him. He had tasked him with the entire strategy around rebuilding the football club, and we were 2 years into a long supposed project. He obviously has skeletons in his closet, and maybe not Daniel Levy could and should have known and made better decisions back in the day, but we are where we were, and we're now rudderless because of FIFA's decision. Well, last night, guys, FIFA rescinded their decision. They upheld an appeal by Fabio Paratici and his lawyers, and I have a statement to read out regarding that because it's quite fascinating. FIFA, this is from their lawyer team, the legal team representing Fabio Paratici. FIFA has upheld the appeal presented by Fabio Paratici against the provision of the FIFA Disciplinary Committee, which, in extending the temporary inhibition imposed by the FIGC worldwide, extended it to a ban on taking part in any activity linked to football. Paratici, assisted before FIFA by a team of lawyers made up of Paolo Lombardi, Luca Pastore, and Ian Lang, will therefore be able to continue working in the world of football, albeit with reduced duties compared to those carried out to date, in compliance with the limits imposed by the sanctions imposed by the FIGC. What does that mean? Well, in a nutshell, according to the source that I'll put up on the screen, the conditions of Paratici's reduced ban mean that he will not be able to enter changing rooms during matches. Not the biggest problem for someone that has no real reason to be in a dressing room or a changing room during matches. He will not be allowed to negotiate contracts with players or agents and cannot participate in league meetings. He can, however, perform administrative tasks and attend training sessions. So it's pretty much the way that it was before. He can't officially be involved in negotiations for players, but he can be involved in every administrative meeting, which includes strategic sessions, which includes doing all of the work behind the scenes in identifying the players or the personnel, the scouts, the staff, the coaches, whatever. He could have been doing all of that within the capacity that this new role, reduced abilities allows. He just can't be the guy that signs the contracts and can't be the guy that's directly involved with negotiations. But there's a million ways around that. You can hire third-party intermediaries. You can hire agents that work on your behalf. You could just have all of the details ironed out in principle with the people that you are working with at Tottenham, and then just hand over the role and responsibility for the final conversation about that to somebody else, to Daniel Levy, to a Scott Munn, whoever, to a Steinson or whatever. There's always someone. So he could have carried on. Now, like I say, this isn't a conversation about whether he's good enough, whether you like him or not. Forget that. The disruption to our season right now and our inability to have used the last 2 months to identify a new manager, to begin the process of figuring out which of the 8 players that are on loan do you want, do you not want? How many of the players in the squad should we be looking for new homes for? Which manager are we going to have next season, and then therefore which strategy are we going to be building around, which formation, which players do we want to identify and try and begin the conversations with? None of those things have happened in the last, 6-7 weeks? Primarily since Conte's left, primarily because we don't know who the manager is and we don't have a director of football who we have any confidence can continue. FIFA shot their load too soon, didn't need to make the rash decision that they did. They've subsequently changed their mind 4 weeks later, but the damage is done. The damage has been done, and I wouldn't be surprised if Daniel Levy litigates as a consequence. Now, what does that mean for Fabio Paratici? Does it mean that he'll come back, rescind his own resignation letter and get back to work with Daniel Levy? I doubt it. I doubt it, because I think it would be received as yet more disorganized and, rudderless strategic thinking. And you would also hope that by now Daniel Levy has already been having conversations with certain other directors of football, maybe people like Ralph Rangnick, which we spoke about the last couple of days. But I wouldn't put it past Daniel Levy. I wouldn't put it past the club. Fabio Paratici has been involved in rebuilding the entire strategy for the last 2 years. Losing him through no small fault of Daniel Levy's for hiring him in the first place. Whether he could have or should have known about him is by the by. We are where we are, and Daniel Levy now has maybe a decision to make, not just around Fabio Paratici and whether he wants to come back in that reduced capacity, but also whether or not he wants to take things up with FIFA for the impact of their rash decision making. What I would say, guys, just to give you a prime example of how this could immediately affect us. You've heard me talk about Manuel Ugarte so often on this channel. I love the guy from Sporting. I think he's amazing. I think he's 23 years old, 22 years old. He's definitely got a poor disciplinary record, but he is a monster number 6. And whether you're going to have a back 4 next season for any particular managerial style, or even in a world where you wanted to play 3 in the middle, someone like Ugarte would be a sensational signing, a real coup. We have a relationship with Sporting. We've already dealt with them all in January for Pedro Porro, and we could have maybe been having these conversations. He's one of our top priorities, according to many reports. Well, today, Liverpool have stolen a march on us and have begun negotiations for Manuel Ugarte. That didn't need to happen. If Liverpool step in because Tottenham haven't got the ability to pull the trigger or make those negotiations happen, because we have nobody at the club right now who is influencing what sort of player we want and can lead those conversations, then this is, again, a direct consequence of Fabio Paratici's absence that didn't need to happen if FIFA just waited. But they didn't. And now we are where we are. Whether you like Fabio Paratici or not, I'm not saying he's coming back. I don't think he is. But I still think that this disruption, and in no small part, where we are is down to poor decision-making, not just within Tottenham Hotspur, but from some of these supposed experts at FIFA. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, bye-bye.